Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Great to have you with us on the program today. Back with us is Dr. James Marcum, a board-certified behavioral cardiologist with a thriving practice at the prestigious Chattanooga Heart Institute. He's a sought-after public speaker and author of several books, including Medicines That Kill, The Truth About the Hidden Epidemic. Dr. Marcum, welcome back to the show. It is a pleasure to have you back with us.
Well, Rick, it's so fun to be here with you, and I want to thank all your listeners for going to our website, heartwiseministries.org. Several of them have had specific health questions that we've been able to answer, and that's been very rewarding. And, you know, we've been working on this top 10 health list the last few times, so let's go ahead and review some of the first six before we finish up the last three or four.
Yeah, we will hit the top six, and you can go to Dr. Marcum's website, and again, it's heartwiseministries.org. Always go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link directly onto that website and get all this information. These are Dr. Marcum's top 10 tips, changing chemistry without a medication, things you can do. Drink water is number one. And whenever I hear that, I think, how much water is enough water? You hear some say a lot, some say you don't need that much. How much water do we need?
Well, that is it's such a simple thing to do. I think everyone can do it, and yet most people don't do it. And one of the things we want to, drink till the urine comes out clear. That's pretty easy. That's pretty easy to tell. Or second, take your weight, divide it in two, and that's approximately how many ounces you need. If you're a 200-pounder, about 100 ounces today, or about 5 big glasses of water, or about 5 of those bottled waters a day. That will give you pretty good stead, Rick.
That is interesting. Take your weight, divide it by 2, and that will tell you how many ounces you should be drinking. Number 2 on the list is get adequate rest. And here's one that, again, is pretty easy to do if we set our mind to it. And again, how much is adequate? Some people say, I can get by on 5. Some people say, I really need my full 8 hours.
Well, 5 or 6 hours for most people. But most people, if they're waking up spontaneously and feel rested, that's good for them. Well, I'm saying more than just rest, Rick. We need diversions in our world. We're working 24/7. We need to take time at night to rest and not be busy all the time, with cell phones and media and all this. We need to have some time then. Maybe take a day off a week, where we rest up. If you're biblical, that's sort of a biblical principle. You work 6 days, you take a day off. In our society, we don't take time off. And when we don't take time off, things don't have a time to heal, including our brains. And that's one of the reasons 1 in 3 have mental health problems is we never let our brain take the time to rest. So the brain needs time to rest too. So 5 or 6 hours a night, maybe 1 day a week where you have a diversion. And also, if you're waking up tired or you have to take a lot of pick-me-ups, then that tells me your body's not getting enough rest.
So if the snooze alarm is going off a couple times every morning, your body is saying, whoa, I need a little bit more than you're giving me.
That's correct. And, and we have to plan, just like sometimes we have to plan taking water in, we have to make sure we're getting enough rest to keep that good balance. Let our body have time to rest and heal itself.
There's something else, number 3 on the list that we need to plan for, and that's movement. And you basically say just allow a little time, a couple times a day, and you're there. You don't have to block out 2 hours and go run a marathon.
No, and if you're a couch potato, let's move one step at a time. There's some research out there that says when you'll just get up out of your chair, walk around the room, that takes about a minute, and then sit back down at your desk and what you're doing. That has tremendous health benefits. And then you can sort of build from there. Add movement into your activity in your day. That might be parking further away, taking the stairs instead of the elevator. If you want to check how many steps you're walking, a pedometer might be a good way today. And then if you build on that, then we'd love to have you in the gym doing something on a regular basis. But just take it one step at a time. Remember, that's part of your health. That changes the chemistry of the entire body, just like rest, just like water. That affects all the chemical pathways. That's what we want to do. In medicines, they just affect one chemical pathway that affects a lot of other things. We call that reductionism. But these things that change all of our chemistry, like the first thing, we call that holism.
You're listening to This Week in America. Our website is thisweekinamerica.us. Our guest on the program is Dr. James Marcum, a board-certified behavioral cardiologist at the Chattanooga Heart Institute. His website and a ton of great information there is heartwiseministries.org. You can go to our website and link on directly to Dr. Marcum's website. Number 4 on the list, and we're doing the top 10 health tips from Dr. Marcum, changing chemistry without a medication. Enjoy the sunshine, but in recent years, we've sort of been told to fear the sunshine, and you feel so much better when you get outside and get some sunshine.
Well, absolutely. For many years, we never had sunscreen. We never had to worry about this. But yes, we need the sunshine to activate vitamin D, which is a pro-hormone that helps our bone health. It helps our blood pressure. It helps many aspects of our body, helps depression via the serotonin pathway. So being outside, we don't want a person to burn, but, 30 minutes at least 3 times a week. If you can't get outside, have your doctor check your vitamin D level. We can take a supplement. It's very important. People that have adequate vitamin D do better overall. Remember, this is another thing that affects the chemistry of the entire body. And so this is something we all want to do. Get out in the sunshine, or if we can't get out, take a vitamin D supplement, especially if we're running on the low side.
Number 5 on the tip list from Dr. Marcum, eat more plants, and people will say, okay, how much is enough? How many servings should I be eating a day?
Well, and this is a journey towards health, and we found in our studies that people that eat a whole food plant-based diet, that means, eat more plants, less of everything else, they do better. So at least 3 to 5 servings of fresh fruits, vegetables, that's a good place to start. But what I tell people when they want to start improving their diet, I give them a couple hints that most everyone do. Drink the water before you start eating. Eat the good fresh stuff first, and just eat enough bad stuff to be happy. Don't fill up on it. You're eating those for treats and not nutrition, and try not to make it a habit of eating big at night, especially bad foods, because that's the food that stays in you a long time. You absorb all the bad stuff. It doesn't let the digestion system rest at night, so you don't take advantage of good rest. So that's some good places to start. Work up to 3 to 5 fresh fruits and vegetables a day.
You get all this information, the top 10 list, at Dr. Marcum's website, which is heartwiseministries.org. And go to thisweekinamerica.us as well and link on directly to that. We're up to number 6, and then we'll get into new ones. Be happy and have fun. And some people think, okay, if I'm happy, I'm a slacker. I should be doing something productive at the time. And you're saying not much more to be productive than to feel good.
Yeah, when we're happy, guess what? It helps our mental health. We make chemicals like endorphins that make us feel good. Those endorphins help inflammation in the body. When we're happy, we make less of those bad chemicals that bring us down. It has to do with being happy of our brain, and our brain controls a lot of our chemistry and the way we feel. If we have negative thoughts and are down all the time, guess what? That turns on inflammation in the body, raises our blood pressure, hurts our immune system, makes it more likely to activate bad cells in our body. So being happy, it's a balance. I'm not saying giggle and laugh all the time, but, happy, contentment, do things that you enjoy, break the routine. This helps give your body a chance to heal. It helps us to have mental peace and turns off some of the stressors. We talk a lot about stress, Rick. The opposite of stress is rest and relaxation. And when most people are having fun and are happy, they're usually in a state of rest and relaxation. That is a treatment for the body, especially the brain.
Number 7, be creative. Explain that and how that benefits us.
Yeah, Rick, we were created to do things, serve people, be creative, use our mind to make things, to be productive. That's how we were inherently made to be. And yet nowadays, unfortunately, some people are spending so much time in the media, cell phones, Facebook, and not that there's a place for that, but when you do it hours after hour, games, things like that, repetitive. We've studied people's brains, and there's an imbalance between the right and the left side of the brains. And whenever there's an imbalance of the creative versus the entertainment part of the brain, it puts stress on the brain. And also, a lot of those things influence the way we think, the way we act, and the way we do things. So being creative is something that we're supposed to do. And you know how it feels when you've created something, you've done something, you've added to society, you've served somebody. It helps your entire chemistry of the body, because that's how we were made to be. And likewise, when we sit around all day, don't do anything, now there's a place for that occasionally, but when we do that every day, day in, day out, people get sick sooner. I take care of a lot of older people in my practice at the Chattanooga Heart Institute. I'm a cardiologist, and the older people that just sit in their chair all day and do nothing but watch the media or TV, they get older and have more health problems than the ones that get out and do something, work in the garden, help someone else out, make something in the garage, fix their car. They do much better. Well, there's a chemical reason behind that, and I think we were made to be productive.
Number 8 on the list, and this is Dr. Marcum's top 10 health tips, changing chemistry without a medication. The website is heartwiseministries.org. Get all the information there. Number 8 on the list is watch out for the toxins. And really, they're everywhere. We really need to be vigilant.
Yeah, and a lot of toxins we don't even realize, but every input is either going to help our body or hurt our body. And people don't think of things like the smells. The smells we put in our body, especially if we're around fumes, there's only one cell between our lungs and our bloodstream. Those get in our system real quick. Look at smoking. When you're around secondhand smoke, that smoke gets in your bloodstream very quickly. So there's lots of toxins out there that we see, some that we don't see. I've even, pay attention to the things I put on my skin. You put lots of junk on your skin. Well, where do you think that goes? That's going to get absorbed and eventually go into your system. So I'm pretty careful about reading levels of those type of toxins. Then we think about all the food. Look at the labels. Make sure you know what you're getting. Occasionally they'll come up with these foods that have carcinogens in it, and they say, "Wow, maybe we should stay away from those type of things." But I just think it's important that people have an awareness of what they put in their body, both their brains. The things they smell, the things they see have some chemical effect on the body, and of course the things we eat. So be aware of things that are going into your body. Realize they might be a toxin, and a toxin is going to disrupt your chemistry.
Should we look at organic products?
Yeah, if you can. The organic are certainly healthier. They use less chemicals and pesticides. They less have these genetically modified things in them, and so for some people, that's a big concern. There's toxins in that. I think about homes. Some homes aren't ventilated well, and you get everyone tests, at least in the South, for things like radon and things of that nature. So it's very important in our environment, whether it be our food environment or even our work environment. Some places of people's work are just stuffy, and they spray paint on the wall, and you breathe that all day. Well, all of these things have chemical effects on our body. So try to avoid as many toxins as you can. But, this is not a perfect world, and there's always going to be some toxins. That's why if we do absorb toxins, we want to do things that help us detox ourselves, like the things we talked about in the upper part of the list. That helps our body make the things it needs to detoxify us.
Get your own copy of the list by going to Dr. Marcum's website, heartwiseministries.org. The top 10 health tips, changing chemistry without a medication. We're up to number 9, believe it or not already. Breathe deeply. And I've tried this. You talk about taking some breaths, holding on to them, then blow out, and it actually does make you feel better. You feel that stress go away.
Yeah, and if everyone right now in our audience will take a deep breath, hold it for 3 seconds, then exhale slowly as much as you can. Do 10 deep breaths of that. If they do that, it turns on the parasympathetic system in the body. That's the nervous system that blocks the stress hormones. Not only that, is it helps us get better oxygen throughout our bodies. The more oxygen our tissues get, the better we think, the better our muscles work, the better we digest. It also opens up all those lung sacs that might be lazy. And more than that, it helps especially if we can think of some happy thoughts, it can help reset our brain. Some people call this process meditation. Some people call it restful relaxation, but it does have chemical benefits. Dr. Herbert Benson out of Harvard really has done the studies in this, and people that have these relaxations by deep breathing, it improves their chemistry. It lowers their blood pressure, lower the chance of you having heart disease if you lower your blood pressure. It does many good things, and I invite all of our listeners, just try it yourself. And if it works for you, try doing it 2 or 3 times a day. If that works for you, the next step would be try to block all other thoughts out of your mind and just focus on something that's really pleasing to you. And just don't let any other thought get in your mind. And if it does say, no, I'm not going to think about that, I'm dismissing that, I'm only thinking about this. What that process does is it's like we turn a computer off and resetting it. It's like giving your brain, the computer, a brief rest period, lets it reboot itself, and hopefully it will reboot itself being a lot healthier than it was before.
Number 10 on the list available at heartwiseministries.org from Dr. Marcum. Find someone to love. And we've alluded to that before. Just do something for somebody.
Yeah, and after I go into this one, I'm going to tell you why I made that list of the top 10. But yes, find someone to love. Love is a universal treatment for everything. Love helps our chemistry. It lowers our stress rates. It helps our muscles relax. It helps lower our blood pressure. People that love and have friends in a society that helps their immune system do better, less likely to have depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts. And, in the world we live, unfortunately, if you think about it, we don't have as much direct communications now as we used to. Everyone can go on the web or interact in other ways. I still think we need time to talk to each other, to be with each other, to touch each other, to enjoy each other's companies, to do good things for people, to serve them, and to take care of the world and each other. There's healing both sides when that's done. There's healing in the recipient, and there's also healing in the giver. And there's science behind all of these. There's randomized studies, Rick, that prove these things. And if you don't believe it, I invite everyone listening today, go out and find someone or something to love, however you might love. It might be shaking someone's hand. It might be a smile. It might be telling a joke to somebody. It might be giving someone a bear hug if that's appropriate. But it might be helping someone out at opening a door for them, but find some way to serve and to love and see if that you don't feel better. I've yet to see anyone that feels worse when they're loving and helping someone else.
It has been a very productive 10 list, the top 10 available at the website heartwiseministries.org. A few minutes left in the program. Why did you put this list together, and what kind of response are you seeing, especially from your patients?
Well, I did this for a couple reasons. One is I wanted to give people that's been science-based and proven 10 things that would not cost a lot of money, not cost a lot of side effects. And I want people to, try the list and do them one at a time that will help your chemistry, because I don't want people to have to take medicines unnecessarily. If they can do something in their own ability to lower the chance of getting off of medicines, because medicines can kill. And if you think about it, I did some stat digging the other day. Right now, the Mayo Clinic says about 70% of people in the United States take at least one medication a year. 50% take at least two. And in my book, Medicines That Kill, medicines do have dangers. There's a place for it, but medicines can also cause dangerous things, especially if we interact lots of ways. There's lots of things. Get the book, and that will go into it in greater detail. And if you think about it, last year the pharmaceutical industry made about $340 billion. And they spent a lot of money. They spent twice that in research and development, so that's about $1 trillion. And yet the rate of heart disease, cancer, stroke, sleep apnea, diabetes, mental health problems, those continue to rise. So you have to figure out, is the real answer in the pharmaceutical industry, or might we look somewhere else for the truth? So that's why I did this, to get people to start thinking. All this is evidence-based. These are things that people can do. They don't need to spend money on it. And yet we sometimes don't think about the things that are the most logical and easiest to do. And I know we don't have to be perfect doing, but I invite our listeners to pick one thing off that list and just start it and do the experiment for yourself. See if you don't feel better in a couple weeks. And if that works better, try another one on the list. And sooner or later, you'll notice that you're being your own best doctor by changing the chemistry from within. That might obviate the need for prescription medicine that just treats a symptom and doesn't necessarily get at the cause.
And it's a really important book, a book that we talked about a while back in the program, Medicines That Kill, The Truth About the Hidden Epidemic. That is available if you go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us. There's a click there for YouTube. You can go to our YouTube channel, and you can find that first program we did with Dr. Marcum talking about the book Medicines That Kill. You'll also find the programs talking about the top 10 health tips. Dr. James Marcum is a board-certified behavioral cardiologist has a practice at the Chattanooga Heart Institute. His website is heartwiseministries.org. A lot of really great information there. Doctor, as always, a pleasure. We made it through the top 10 list. Much more to talk about. We'll have you back in a few weeks. Thank you for being with us on the show.
My pleasure, Rick, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you and your audience. I want to invite your audience, as an extension of your website, go to your website, link on to us, and if you have a medically related question, I'd be happy to answer it the best as I can. They just come to me. There's no charge, all free. Just want to get people back into being healthy again.
We appreciate that, and the doctor's website is heartwiseministries.org, or you can link on directly at our website, thisweekinamerica.us.